one and all. Welcome back to another episode of your beloved bi-monthly broadcast, Harlem's very own, featuring, as always, your three ebullient co-hosts. Speaking first, it's Justin Winley, a.k.a. Bushido Black Belt, joined by my homies.
Hey, yo, what's up? It's Jude, a.k.a. I don't know about y'all, but I know about us. And you ain't gonna be the mother of my child. I don't know about y'all, I know about us. And you ain't gonna be the mother of my child.
Nice one. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay, good. And our third mic. Oh, he disappeared. I guess we'll just wait for him to come back. So, Jude, you got a new bed.
I got a new bed, and yes, It's a king-size bed from Wayfair. Memory foam, medium, what's it called? Medium comfort, which means it's like half memory foam and half firm.
So sorry.
He's back.
Yo, listen.
I hate my Wi-Fi in this house. I literally hate it.
It's fine. We were
Anyways,
just talking
real
about
quick, ladies, if you're trying to test out this king-size bed, come out the kid.
And our third mic.
Hi, people. Hello. Good afternoon. It's 4:51. Hi. Hello, people. My name is Ahmad K. Simmons, a.k.a. Mr. Deontay Dimadick McAdimadum.
What?
A.k.a.
My man is doing wordplay.
Nigga did a tongue twister
like
with
super
the letter
hot fire.
D. How you doing tongue twister with the letter D?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta just work with it.
Dale Dimmadome? What did you say?
Sanders, dick him down.
Mr. Deontay Dimadick McAdimadum. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Dinkelberg? Like, what do you...
Brickleberry.
AKA, she call me Swishy Sweets because she be sucking on my balls like it's a lollipop.
Does she really call you that? Does she really? Let's not be crass.
Let's not be Justin. I mean, you know what, Justin? Here's your task for the next episode. You need to come up with something just as wild as what this nigga comes up with. You need a channel.
I don't like the sound.
You need it bothers him.
Sorry.
The sound is crazy.
This reminds me of when people don't like the word moist.
The plosive. The plosive energy that you have.
I'm sorry. That's the last one.
Do you do that at girls' butts, Ahmad? You just be like in that.
Does.
Do you do this in?
If I tell you, I gotta kill you.
Yeah,
Damn.
Fair enough. And this is right on target because it is the end of Valentine's week, and actually,
yes.
Today's topic we will be talking about the idea, the concept, the brand of Black love. We'll be joined by a returning guest to discuss that, and you'll hear her when she gets here later on. Otherwise, we do have some regular stuff to cover, so let's open it right up with our favorite opening segment, and this is a doozy.
This is fun.
Yes, it is. It's called Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
This gentleman.
I said stop.
Yes, sir. Preach.
Stop.
Yes, sir.
This black man, because it's Black History Month.
Yes, exactly. Stop this Negro.
Nigger. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
hit the hard ER for Black History Month.
For what the internet is calling the worst Black History Month on record, by the way. And
I
think this thread that we're going to talk about.
Real quick, it's like is February the beginning of the whole "I was out niggered and I will not be out niggered again." Is this when
on TikTok?
Is this when it started? Because damn,
I feel like I heard it prior to this month. I think I started to hear it, but it is a very funny sound. It is a very funny sound. Yeah. So we were looking for someone to stop, and there were a lot of candidates, right? Because DaBaby was acting up, and obviously everything's going on between Ye and Pete Davidson. But we talked about those guys so much. What?
Skeet, that's his name now.
Skeet Davidson?
Skeet Davidson, because Kanye West is an 11-year-old bully. Kanye West has turned into the white kid in Like Mike.
Wow. Wow.
I mean,
how has race just switched like that? Like Pete Davidson is Bow Wow and Kanye is the white kid and like Mike. How did that happen? How did we get here?
I feel like calling the man who is sleeping with your ex-wife Pete Skeet Davidson isn't the diss you think it is. Because where do you think that Skeet is going?
On her forehead.
That's so it's horrific. Like you've effectively only further dissed yourself, but that's who we're not talking about today. There was, in fact, some of you, if you're on Twitter pretty regularly, you might have noticed there was a thread that went kind of viral from one Nia Monet at It's Nia Monet, or Sativa Monet. She was had hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived by a Twitter scammer named Odell Walker Jr., a.k.a.
OJ the King.
The King.
Odell Walker Jr.?
Leave it to a nigga named OJ.
Yo, that sounds like a slave-ass name. Odell Walker.
Odell Walker.
That nigga sound like he in a rock and roll.
My name Odell Walker now.
He got like a single shotgun. Like,
bro, I was with the mind meld. I was just about to make a shotgun joke. sitting on his lap, rocking
with a sawed off. Just
I said, boy, get off my lawn. Get off my porch, monkey.
Like, Niggas walk around. It's the way you said monkey. Monkey.
Or you say like Frieza, monkey.
It's monkey.
Broly, look, niggas be wildin'.
That was hilarious. Yo, shouts out to my little brother Lewis who said to me that Frieza was, look, niggas be wildin'. Sorry, I had to repeat that all over again, but that shit was funny.
So, I think the best way to go through this is just to read it. And
this is long, bro. This is like it's like a biblical story.
I'm gonna skip I'm gonna summarize some of it, but I wanna open it. It is kind of like an epic. So she says she met this young man Odell on Twitter last year, and this comes from, by the way, this was precipitated by someone posting a picture of the two of them together, where I think he was hiding his face or something like that. So they started talking, and a month later, he flew out to meet her, which is when they took said picture in April 2021. And then they had a weekend together, and then they made all these plans for her to go visit him in the following month. He picked the date. She bought her flight. Everything was smooth. And then a week before she's about to fly out, he said his cousin got killed. Automatically, for me, I'm like, where are you living that, like... Like, do I want to become involved in that lifestyle? That, like, are you also like in danger of being shot at any moment?
Right.
But whatever, So she said, I never saw him post anything about his cousin's death, but not everything is for the internet, so I didn't think much of it. He said the funeral was going to be the same weekend I was supposed to be there, so I canceled my flight. We said we'd reschedule. She posts a screenshot of their text conversation. They rescheduled for June. And then he started having legal issues about how his license was suspended, about how he had to go to a different county to get a court date.
Where is this?
To fight it. This is actually a great question.
Because I'm hearing county, I'm like, we don't talk about counties in New York.
Well, yeah, unless you're at jury duty, which, by the way, listeners, brief aside, I almost had to serve grand jury duty, and then I wouldn't have been able to record this episode.
Ooh, you a lucky man.
Yeah, well, now because I volunteered, so what they do basically, I'll do this fast. So the difference between trial jury and grand jury is that trial juries can have an indefinite length of time, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like you don't know how long you'll be in there doing whatever. Also, trial jury is where they get like the people to interview you about like your political beliefs, your religion, like all that stuff. That's how they curate a jury for the trial. Grand jury, as I understood it, is a panel of people who decide whether or not certain cases should be tried in the first place. Mm-hmm. So a prosecutor presents information to them about a case that they want to make, and the grand jury decides if it goes to trial or goes to court. It goes to trial. So the way they do it is you get a summons and you come in and you sit in a big old room, and then they take your juror ID card and they start calling out names, and you have to either say serve, which means that you're willing to have your name moved up to the second round, where they will randomly choose your name out of like a bingo roller thing that they have, or you can say application, which is when you apply to have your date deferred another 6 months. They said that this case was only going to be like 9 to 10 days. And that's like one of the shortest terms you'll probably get in something like this. So I said serve. And because I said serve, even though I didn't get picked, it still counts as service. So I'm good for the next 4 years.
There you go.
Even though I'm not on the panel. Either
yes,
of the two
sir.
panels selected. So just so you guys know, from Harlem's very own, you can always say that you understand what grand jury means now. But I don't know where they are, but I had to serve because I was in the county of Manhattan. Manhattan is considered a county.
Okay.
So he's having all these issues. And then 2 weeks before she's supposed to fly out, he has a court date and sends her what appears to be some kind of summons, right? But there's like almost no information filled out. Says that he just a blank yellow paper.
Did he just print out his summons?
He looked it up online and they just put some words on top, just like the cat.
He said he claims he has to pay a fine and spend 4 days in jail the very same weekend I was supposed to come. So he asked me if we can reschedule my flight to come a week sooner. And then
where does the scam part come in? Like just scan it.
We're already in it.
Yeah.
This is part of it. Now I thought this was fishy as hell, she says, but I figured I would get to the bottom of everything in person when I got there.
Yeah.
My sisters, stand up. My sisters,
where's Grace?
please.
I think she needs to be in this for the story.
He said he would reimburse me for all the money I spent changing flights. So my dumb ass agreed to come earlier. Always listen to your gut.
Now hold on. Let's just think about this. One flight is not cheap.
No.
That's not cheap. She literally said that she did 2 flights. She paid for 2 flights. And now we're about to get on to the third.
And also, how far is this nigga?
That's what I'm saying.
So like
it is.
Like let's think about this. Like I'm gonna say something random. Like she lives in Chicago, he lives in like Atlanta or something. That's like a $300 flight
at bare minimum.
That's like that'd be like two something. One way? Are you talking about round trip?
Round trip.
You talking about round trip?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the under right there. Yeah, my fault.
Yeah, I would say round trip. Like why would you stay in Atlanta? Like not stay in Atlanta's nice place.
Why would ever at all?
Like why would you stay in Atlanta if you're in Chicago?
I got family out there. You know what I'm saying? Just stay for a little weekend, or a week, 2 weeks.
Well, there you go. You got familia over there. I don't know if she got.
Right, you got family in Chicago too. I was being basically.
Yeah.
No, it's. But yeah, no, you're right. No matter how far they are or close they are from each other, flights are flights.
Flights are flights.
So she says, a few days before my third flight, he goes ghost for a whole 24 hours. We talked every single day, so I was worried and confused. The day before I was supposed to fly out, I wake up to this text from his phone. She posts a screenshot. Wednesday, June 16. Everything okay? Same day, a few hours later. Hey, I'm texting everyone that reached out. Juice went to the hospital earlier today. His sugar's spiking. He'll have his phone tomorrow. She said, please call me when you get your phone back. Apparently this man told her he was diabetic.
Yo!
Wait a minute. I really thought he was talking about his homeboy sugar.
No. He texted her as another person.
Dude.
He texted her about himself as another individual saying, yo, your boy is in the hospital because his blood sugar spiked.
He'll have his phone tomorrow. How did this person get the password? Number 2.
Did he take his hand and put his thumb?
Or he has Face ID. He held it up to his.
He was just
on the gurney.
He had to open his eyes.
With the oxygen tank all in his nose and shit.
Just open this up real quick. Look at me. Smacks him in the face. Look at me.
He needs the eyes first.
So finally, Nia says, I started using my brain. None of this was adding up.
Finally,
He didn't want me to come for whatever. Stand up. He didn't want me to come for whatever reason, and the whole story was a lie. That was definitely him texting me, pretending to be someone else. So I stopped responding, and then stuff got real weird. Mm-hmm. This is where this man sends her another mystery text, a picture of himself in the hospital bed. But hold on, let's analyze. Number one, it was a live picture, and he moved at the end.
Yo, bro.
The live picture, they just like this.
All right, that's good, right? That's good.
No.
Number two, the picture was clearly taken in an ER. If he had been there for days, why didn't they admit him? Number three, the board in the background has the wrong date on it. He sent it the day after it was taken, pretending it was current. Not to mention, who was supposedly sending me all this? Not once did I get a text anywhere but his phone. And not once did they say, hey, this is OJ's mom, cousin, friend, nurse, anything. And then she goes on to say that she did some digging and found out that this guy was not who he claimed to be, basically.
Oh, no.
And that he tried to follow up with her, sent her a whole email talking about, hey, I just wanted to reach out and apologize for my actions. I'm not looking for a response. Classic toxic nigga.
Oh my God.
That is a Hall of Fame toxic nigga.
Like, real quick, let's real quick. Have we sent this text?
Yes, I have. I'm very guilty. And the thing is, for me, I didn't realize that was like a toxic thing. Mm-hmm. But what you're actually saying is, I don't want to risk hearing about myself from you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get this off my chest, and then I'm gonna try
to
prohibit you. Yeah,
I'm gonna emotionally dump on you and bounce.
So I'm not looking for a response. I'm not looking for sympathy. I only want you to hear me out and hopefully find it in your heart to forgive. Firstly, let me tell you that I enjoyed our moments and I appreciate you being such a great person. Secondly, I'd like to repay the amount you spent for the ticket bought to come here. It was a very wild time for me.
The ticket bought?
That's separate from refunding the rescheduling.
Let me take this paragraph, Justin.
Go ahead.
Let me take this paragraph. And
I love
first
that the
off,
actors are doing this.
This man didn't say tickets. He said ticket. just one flight. I'm only gonna pay for one flight that you got. Yeah, it's plural. It's one. Okay. Here we go. It was a very wild time for me. I got sick. My blood sugar spiked to the high 500s, and I was hospitalized. The very next day, I was released from the hospital. I had to serve jail time for the police issues. Almost dying in jail from them not giving me insulin. As soon as I got released from jail, I reached out to you. But I was already blocked on everything at that point.
Being
a diabetic.
He is checking off the police abuse box. He's just checking off boxes right here. Like, oh my God. It's like Juicy Smoulier all over again.
Bro.
Okay.
Real quick, I'm upset that black people do not get the same attention a Tinder swindler gets. Because, this happens to black women, too. We all worried about a sad white woman with this whole Tinder swindler shit. Come on, man. This is funny. This is entertaining.
Yo. Tinder swindler, that joint is insane.
I didn't see that.
Bro.
I only heard about it because of this.
Bro, it's insane. I ain't gonna lie to you. These white women, they're suffering for the rest of their lives. I ain't gonna lie to you. They're suffering. Yes, bro. I would say watch the documentary, watch the whole thing. But all I'm gonna say is one of the many women that he fucked over, she has to pay off more than $250,000 loans. Oh. She dropped 9 loans for this man. 9.
I got a loan for myself.
9, bro. What?
Yo, niggas ain't shit, bro. I see why women say niggas ain't shit. This is a real niggas ain't shit. Oh, damn, yo.
9, bro. She is she's done. Okay, she's done.
You can forget about buying a house.
A baby got more money than her.
And we talking about like, yo, I'm telling you, next podcast, we got to talk about that thing. Because
watch-
Tinder
I'm watching
Swindler
it.
is
Yeah.
that dude right there, next level of toxic. Next. My girl and I was talking about that because she watched it and she was blown away.
Y'all watching it together?
No, she did. She just talked to me about it, and I was just like,
no,
relaying it to you. Well,
but let's continue this email.
Some wild shit.
At this point, the rest of the email is just him being like, I'm sorry that this happened, and you gave me the best experience of my life, type of thing. And she had already blocked him, but it's just crazy how manipulative he was, right? Like as soon as I got out of prison, the first person I wanted to talk to had blocked me.
Oh
like,
my
can you see
God, yo, he's so perfect. Listen,
the dude's account I think is deactivated,
as it should be.
Oh no, it's
no,
not,
it's still going.
Yep, Belly Roland, he's still up here.
Yo, Belly Roland. Oh my God, Belly Roland. Oh my God.
His most recent tweet. I'll read this and then we'll close this. What's his
most recent tweet? And real quick, I must say, he looks like a Dunkin' Donuts munchkin.
He does. He kind of looks like a Dominican Fat Joe. Not Fat Joe.
Yes, Fat
Action
Joe.
Bronson.
Yes, Action Bronson. He looks like a fuckboy Uncle Phil.
Yep.
So he said, "Ain't nothing I can say, but I apologize to y'all women I capped on. I'm gonna eat these jokes and fall back and get more therapy from my ways." The first response is a woman under the name of @FantasticFro who says, "You need to apologize to the emergency room folks for holding up their bed playing dead."
During COVID.
It's COVID outside.
It's COVID.
Can I use this bed real quick? I'm only gonna be out real soon.
Yo, can I make a TikTok real quick?
Yo, wait. Do we know more about him though? Actually, because now I'm thinking, maybe he's a nurse. Maybe he works in the hospital or something. Wow. And just laid in the bed real quick.
Not the Dexter of diabolical niggas.
Yeah. So like, nigga said like this. It's like.
Still had the beanie on and everything.
Not a tooth to be found.
Right?
Look, the end of this email that he sent, it says, "Thank you for allowing me to experience the most genuine affection I've ever had.
Oh my God.
You take care." He says, "You take care," with a diamond emoji.
No.
Sir.
Yes, go.
You need to be stopped forever.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. I want to first of all, I want to thank Sativa Monet for being the one to really stop this nigga.
Yo, I need to know this. Slavery, Jim Crow, police brutality. How do certain niggas survive? Just out of all the terrible things that have happened to black people, how do we let this slip through the cracks?
Well, clearly he's crafty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, all
the slippery one.
All the crafty niggas survive.
Yeah, that's how it's got to be. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Ahmad?
This man, his latest tweet says, "And whoever I still owe product or merch, hit my DM. If you local, pull up to my shop."
What does he do,
bro?
Does he own t-shirts?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. This man needs to be stopped. He needs to be locked up for some time, okay? Because I don't like this man.
No one likes this thing.
This man really took advantage of this woman and her money, and I'm telling you, I'm glad she had a brain on her because he really could have taken full advantage of her.
Yeah,
this ain't no Tinder swindler stuff because them white women had no brain. They were just desperate. They were desperate. They were just desperate.
Damn.
Moving on.
The Super Bowl happened.
That was lit.
The Rams edged out the Bengals in what was apparently a very close game.
It's a tight game. Yeah, it was a tight game. I was rooting for the Bengals.
23-20.
Yeah. But they made it happen. The Bengals, those are the ones that they have that new quarterback, that like Jack Harlow type quarterback.
Joe Burrow,
Yeah,
he'll be back.
The new white boy. Everyone is
the white boy that everyone is loving, like my mother's friend. So shouts out to Marie and Maggie for having me over at their house. Marie is this fantastic, lovely reverend that was a friend of my mom's. They met in law school, and she's very progressive and super smart. And she was bothered. She was really bothered by the Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is a wide receiver, like I just said, and wide receivers is usually a black position. And whenever a white boy ends up in that position and is kind of nice, niggas is tripping over their shoelaces on how nice he is. And so this white woman hates this boy.
Yeah.
So Joe Burrows is not the one, I wouldn't say is the one that we gotta like worry about him being, actually he is Jack Harlow because we love Jack Harlow. Cooper Kupp is Jake Paul.
I see. Got it.
Cooper Kupp is Jake Paul.
But the real reason that we bring up the Super Bowl is because of that halftime show, huh? How about that? What did you guys think about it? Did you feel like it matched the expectation that you had, or
no?
How did you feel?
Not really.
Yeah, right. I remember.
I liked everybody crip walking.
Yo,
I personally would have, but no, I understand why they wouldn't do it to like show like gang affiliation and gang colors. But Snoop Dogg was out there in a full blue bandana.
My man was wearing a bandana.
So, and they had all the guys in the khakis. But I thought
my man looked like the handkerchief at the end of a stick you put when you're leaving town and you have
like a hobo. Nah, but like I personally would. I ain't gonna lie to you, it sounds horrific, but if they would have put dudes in red and blue dancing together, I think that would have been cool. Dancing together in red and blue, I think could have been unifying. It would be a solid statement, and everyone's performances was solid. I knew the songs they were gonna play. Like it was very predictable. So but we ain't getting new music from Kendrick, which is all that we.
Who I'm surprised didn't perform was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson opening up this ceremony. I'm here at Bro, actually, can you talk about the pants he was wearing?
Yo, bro, someone on Twitter said he had the snatched waist to the gods. Steroids, sweetheart, steroids.
He is literally built like Johnny Bravo. There is
I was just watching about Johnny Bravo.
Why does he look this way? And listen, it's not like the clothes are bad. Great colors for him. Like whoever his stylist was, just kind of missed the.
I'd wear it.
It's a great fit, but there's a weird gap in the crotch area that I feel like because his thighs are so ridiculous. Like it pulls everything taut, and there's no, when like you sit down and your pants bunch up.
Yeah, it looks like a board.
Yeah, it looks like you just put pants on top of a plank.
Everybody at the Super Bowl though was lit. Like Jay-Z rocking a blue rag around his neck. I'm like, what you doing?
Was Jay there?
Hov was there.
Yeah.
So Jay-Z and Rock Nation are the ones who book and do all the Super Bowl performances now. So I think the first one he did was J-Lo and Shakira. That was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing with the show, the halftime was like, you realize that because they have assembled like the Avengers, right? Like not everybody is going to be able to do that much. So Kendrick, he had a medley of like 3 songs.
Mad City and All Right, that was hilarious.
But it was enough.
Yeah, I mean,
it was enough.
Yeah, it was great. And he's out there doing his, how he'd be walking sometimes like he got to poop.
He walking in
like
staccato.
Like his legs mad wide, like he's trying to find the nearest bathroom. But he was cool. He kind of, and he did like the Black Panther type regalia that like it almost reminds of like Beyonce's halftime performance a few years back that she did opposite of Bruno. Speaking of Bruno, Anderson .Paak was there
on the
drumming for Eminem.
He was cheesing like a mug.
Eminem, by the way, wearing the same outfit since 2017. Has not changed.
2009, Justin. He's been wearing the same like army hat, the hoodie, the Jordans.
I'm just thinking specifically of like that freestyle he did for during the Trump era. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was.
Oh
funny.
my God.
Yeah.
And he took a knee, which I was like, okay.
I didn't even realize that was what that was supposed to mean. I thought he was just like, they were like, okay, and when you're done, you can just stand. No, I'm gonna kneel. Like I thought that was just him being like, no, M, you can just like stand up and dance with us. No, I'm gonna kneel. I didn't realize.
I'm tired.
I didn't realize he was making a political statement. But good for him. Yeah, I also thought that the set was like, it was impressive, but it was like smaller than it felt really like tiny in a way. And then when they did those top down shots, that was really cool. Like the Compton map on the ground, like that was cool. But it didn't feel grand in the same way that like Prince's did, or
it's Prince.
Even like Katy Perry. I know, but I'm not saying the performance.
Katy Perry was
like
wild though. That was crazy. She was on a horse.
I mean, like the and Lenny Kravitz came out and there was fire. I just mean the actual stage. I feel like they didn't take full advantage of the stadium, but maybe they, I don't know why.
I would say that the stage was a little bit narrow.
Yes,
because they only had like a limited amount of space in order to do a lot of stuff, and they could have. And I guess that they wanted to symbolize or try to paint the picture of how Compton looks, like with the barbershop and all types of other stores that are around the city of Compton, and so pay homage to those. But then all of a sudden, the person who was hanging like a fucking bat was Mr. 50 Cent,
Curtis Jackson,
Mr. Curtis Jackson,
like with milk dud.
With that damn bulletproof vest. No one's going to shoot you. It is past that time, sir.
It's the Super Bowl. They checked for that stuff at the door.
Yo,
you could have just performed in a suit, and I would have been okay with that.
On Twitter, they said that he $1 now because he got so big.
He doubled in size.
Nah, that bulletproof vest did look a little snug. I ain't gonna lie.
Big as shit.
Yeah.
He was just.
Yeah, it was a little tight.
Go. Oh, okay, sir. All right. I mean, granted, I was like, oh shoot, that's 50. But
yeah, because he wasn't advertised, right? Like,
nah, he just came on.
It was just rumors.
Oh, okay.
I think it was some rumors about it.
Yeah, an interesting surprise. It's just funny. I saw this tweet. I didn't think to save it, but it said something to the effect of like, actually, let me see if I can find it, because I know I liked it. Please hold.
No, but with Mary J. Blige as well.
Oh, the aunties was
she
outside.
Was cool.
The aunties was standing up.
Yeah, Mary did it. She a little thickums, and then she let out the nice little holla at the end, and then she dropped like Andy was home. You know what I'm saying?
I thought I was gonna see a marker on her boot. Yeah, this guy Roger Sherman on Twitter said everybody born between 85 and 95 saw the halftime show lineup and was like, sweet, instead of doing a show for old people like the Rolling Stones or Paul McCartney, they did one for us young people. And then 10 seconds later it hit us. We have become the old people.
But we not 95.
Well, not we. But then someone quote tweeted it and said, the Super Bowl with Future, Lil Pump, Lil Baby, and Durk gonna be wild.
Oh my god!
I'd
probably be dead by then. Fucking lean over those.
I do not want that.
Do y'all think Drake is ever gonna do a halftime show?
That would be great.
It might happen.
Prince and Mike
I feel like it's bound to happen.
Mike did it.
Yeah, it almost is like a rite of passage if you're a musician as popular as that, like, to do it at some point,
like we got like a bunch. I think we got like a bunch with this one, but now that you said Drake, I'm down for that. Maybe I'm going to throw it out there. Rihanna's never going to do it. She said
no, she's going to be too busy with the baby.
Yeah, her will eventually do it.
Nah, her's not going to do it.
I could see.
I think
if Prince did
ethically,
I think ethically
now. I think ethically now, her's not going to do it. We did not have the same controversy we did with the NFL when Prince did it. Prince did it like 10 years ago in like 07. So 14 years ago. And the whole political landscape when it comes to the NFL is completely different than the way it is now.
That's true.
So her...
Ja Rule will perform at the Super Bowl.
Where is Ja?
Where is Ja? Somebody tell me what Ja Rule think.
If anything fails, Ja Rule will step in.
Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and Ashanti next Super Bowl.
Yo,
Fat Joe.
Honestly, the way that obviously culture has been trending back toward the retro, we probably will be doing stuff like that. With all the verses and whatnot, like Isley Brothers playing the halftime show.
Oh my
bro,
God.
I would watch that front to back.
You would just see them just stand in one spot, just the whole time. Make sure they got fans.
What'd you say, Jude?
Justin would go to the game.
Yeah, I'd be right there in the front row.
He would like.
Well, we'll take. We're gonna slice up our format a little differently because we have our guest waiting in the wings.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna take our break now and let in our homie, and I'm very excited to have her on and talk and get into our Black love conversation. So,
Black love.
All right, folks, welcome back from the break. Like we said up top, we are going to be discussing a topic that's near and dear, I think, to all of our hearts and lives, Black love. And we brought someone who I think is specially equipped to help us tackle this issue. You've heard her voice before, friend of the show, dear heart, Grace Duah. Welcome back, Grace.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi. It's me. I'm back.
Yes. You can feel free to introduce yourself with some AKAs,
Okay.
I love this.
Hi, I'm Grace, AKA Gossip Goon, AKA HBO Maxing Out, AKA I have a new job.
Yes.
Hey!
Period. And yes, before we start officially, of course, my congratulations, which I've already offered to you, but for all of our congratulations on landing the role that you have on HBO Max's Gossip Girl reboot, in which you are fantastic, by the way.
Thank you.
And yeah, y'all should watch that show for Grace, because she's in it. So happy you're here, Grace. What we are talking about today kind of occurred to me very last minute in the process, as it happens. Sometimes it happens with this show. We're free flowing. Jude sent to a group chat that we have an Instagram post from Nazanin and Miguel announcing that they had reunited and are in fact married now, as I understand it.
Were they always married and didn't get divorced?
They've been married for a while.
Were they?
Yeah,
I thought they were just all like together, like.
No, because like that's like his like OG girl. Like they've been married, so they dated for the longest time, and then he finally put a ring on it, and so people are like, "Oh, she waited and she got the ring," and then they separated, and people were like, "Damn, maybe you shouldn't have waited this long." And now they're back together. They were married.
Yeah. Well, that kind of compiled. We've been seeing a lot of, obviously Rocky and Rihanna kicked the month off with the pregnancy announcement. We've been seeing a lot of paparazzi footage of Chloe and Gunna, and there's just been a lot of,
Oh, please.
Which is we're not even gonna.
Listen.
Let's just let it.
I'm leaving Chloe Bailey alone.
That was a music video.
I'm gonna leave April O'Neil and the Ninja Turtle alone.
I have a comment. You look happy, Chloe, and that's all that matters.
The point is that that this all coincided with me seeing a video on my YouTube feed by a fellow named FD Signifier, who does culture commentary. Cool dude. I came across him first sometime last summer, and I kind of kept tabs on him because I thought he had an interesting model. He basically does like black media criticism, but I saw this, this thumbnail, and YouTube is the eyeball game, and it said Black love is dead. So I was like, And I clicked into it, and I wondered what it was about. And as soon as I started it, I was like, oh, this is something I'm going to have to devote time to. But I wasn't thinking about it as a potential topic for HVO until Jude sent the Nazanin thing, and I was like, well, maybe there's something to tap into here. It is the end of Valentine's week. It is almost the end of Black History Month. And, this is a sensitive topic for a lot of people. So, disclaimer, because there have been a lot of men and women getting behind microphones and pretending like they know what they're talking about when it comes to relationships. We are not providing advice.
I know what I'm talking about. Listen to me.
We are not providing advice. What we are doing is reacting to a perspective and offering our own perspectives based on as much of our personal experiences as we'd like to divulge or not. And so just, take everything here with a grain of salt, and also, of course, check out the original video. Shouts out to FD. So basically, the thesis of this video is that Black love, capital B, capital L, trademark signal next to it, has become this sort of commodified ideal without substance, and that it's pushed by social media and these dating guru types as this sort of static list of aesthetic and financial and intrapersonal goals, which are actually, in his opinion, based in white supremacy, and that don't allow a lot of room for flexibility for the people. That it's not a framework that serves us or even white people, but definitely that doesn't serve Black people. And we can talk more about that. I guess the way that I kind of want to structure this is I have like a few questions that I think we could use to guide the conversation, and y'all, could spring off of them. The first one I have, and y'all can take this and also use it to talk about like your reactions to the video. But my first question is pretty simple, like, and we'll start with Grace as our guest. What was your get ready. What was your earliest encounter with the term Black love, like those words? And did you feel like it applied to any examples that you'd seen in your life? So it's a compound question.
Okay. Earliest, it would have to be college. Because nobody talked about like Black love like as like a concept. Especially because my family's from Ghana, but I grew up in Virginia. And Virginians are not out here like Black love,
right?
No, especially not where I grew up in Virginia. So like that concept definitely was something in college. I remember just being like, nobody will shut up about this. Like I aspire to have Black love, but like this is like a branding thing now. Like people talked about it, like they talk about Coco Chanel. Like, I'm trying to get some Black love next week. And I was like, okay. But then, I mean, what's interesting, and the guy kind of, he was like, oh, he was talking about this one lady. He was like, oh, you're one of the first women who's grown up around a lot of married women. And I don't know if it's culturally, but I knew 2 divorced women, Black women, my whole life until I came to college. Like, and even the one of them, she may be a widow, she may be divorced. Ghanaians don't talk about it either way, so I don't really know. But that was it. Like there was, regardless if we had a really healthy relationship or not a healthy relationship, being single dumb wasn't really something that I saw that often around older couples. Younger couples, like I remember I had like older cousins and stuff who were going through the ringer, but like my parents were college sweethearts. They've been together 33 years or something like that. So like for me, I had a very like, thank you, shout out to Letitia. I had a very like standard, like I have to get my degree, then I get good job, then find good man under God, keep good man till I die. Like that was like that was like my understanding. And I don't know if I associated it with Blackness. But I also think up until college, my view of Blackness was different because, like, a lot of the things that I aspired or like, liked in a relationship or were trained to follow were very Ghanaian specific. So a lot of my view of, like, love and, like, how to take care of a partner were very Ghanaian specific. Like, yes, there's a major patriarchy in play in Black love, and the video talks about it. But, like, in Ghana, like, I remember being like 8 and my mom just spending like 45 minutes to train me on how to set a plate properly. Like serve your husband's food in a specific way. You have to cover the fufu like this. You have to put the cup here. And now that I'm 24 and I go home, if I don't set up my dad's food like that, Letitia will say something from the other side of the house. Even if my dad doesn't care, she will say something. So I think a lot of my views of love, I didn't necessarily associate with Blackness, but I did. Sorry, my sister tried to FaceTime me, but I did associate it with. But I did associate it with like, I don't know, Ghanaian culture and like, if I don't do these certain things, I won't be wanted. What's interesting is Black love as we know it, is a lot of like I guess it's like this like two successful black people and they're the image of perfection or whatever.
Right.
But growing up, a happy relationship to me was so deeply rooted in patriarchy. It was literally just like, if I wanted to be a successful wife one day, I had to be master chef. I had to be Mr. Clean. I had to mow the lawn. I had to be the seamstress. I had to do all those things. And then I also had to have all my degrees and I also had to be the best. Like, it was like,
well, goddamn.
that, like, yeah, there was no equal
no
parts.
And
no wiggle room. There's no wiggle room now. Like, literally now, the conversations my mother has with me about love and finding a partner, it's very, like, millionaire matchmaker. Like, she has offered to matchmake me.
Don't mind me asking.
Oh, he don't care. And that's also what I find very interesting, is a lot of the notions came from women. Ghanaian women in my childhood. All that, like, I also think I was kind of lucky that my dad got his master's in Germany. So he spent a long, like, time, he spent 8 years in Germany. So he has this, like, overall worldview that is not normal of a Ghanaian father, to the point where, like, my other Ghanaian friends would be like, your dad is, like, the different elder. Like, he's the one that we can talk to. He's the one who's, like, normal. And so, literally, my mother, thinking of a recent conversation I had with my mother, where she was like, you spend too much time with women and you're 24 and you only have 3 good years left, so.
Damn, Mom!
Whoa.
She was like, you have 3 good years left. And with the irony, Letitia got married at 30 after she got her degree and a job, but okay. So she was like, you only have 3 good years left. And I literally just went to my dad and my dad was like, don't worry about it. Like, and like, he was like, you're doing great. Because the conversation started because she was like, I'm worried that, like, you're not spending enough time on your love life and you're not spending enough time with your kind husband and you only care about a job. And I was like, Letitia, do you want to digest the job I just got? Like, mama, I didn't just get a job. I got the job. What you mean? But, like, it was a problem for her because she was like, for her, she was like, I don't think you're aspiring. Her idea of black love is servitude, completely. It's not just like patriarchy, it's servitude. It's doing things for people. And so when she's like very proud of her daughters. Both of us are very successful 6-figure girls now, but neither of us, we can, but we don't live servitude first. And so that stresses her out because she's like, what do you mean? Like, your aspiration is not to serve another man. Yeah. But the irony is that my dad, he doesn't view it that way. He's like, I married you for your education. I married you for your brain. I married you for this. And it's interesting to see her not be able to process that. She still processes it as, he loves me because I cook dinner. He loves me because I clean the house. He loves me because I do all this stuff. She cannot let it go. 33 years in, she cannot let it go. Doesn't matter what he says, doesn't matter what he does. She can't let it go because that's how she was trained. And so, like, sometimes I find myself even when I don't want to. When I start talking to a guy, I'm very much like that in the beginning, and I have to rein myself in and be like, oh, I have more to offer than, like, cooking this man dinner. Like, what the hell? But sometimes it's really hard to let that go.
Although let the record reflect that Grace is a great cook. I
started at a very young age.
And she knows what she's doing. So college, you would say, was the earliest you encountered it. I would say the same, I think. And then you think your preeminent example has been your parents, even though there's levels to that, there's layers to that. Okay, cool. What about you, Ahmad? When would you say you first encountered the idea, the term black love? And did you feel like you had a personal example?
It was definitely through college. I didn't really have a certain example in the beginning because my mom just, took care of my brother and my older brother and I by herself. And so for quite a while, for a kid growing up, just in Harlem, you don't really see much of that. You don't see black married couples, and you don't really know what that term black love is all about. And, you and I going to LaGuardia, you wouldn't see a lot of black relationships happening because nobody wasn't going to anybody. But I wasn't really I wasn't like thinking about black love like that. It wasn't on the forefront of my mind because of how I was moving in college, and
yes,
I would say shut up.
It's fine.
So I think it was when I got into a relationship at the age of 20, and it wasn't like I wasn't even shouting black love like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I really wasn't. And I didn't really have a lot of examples as a child. The only example that I did have at that time was my mentor and his wife at that time. But that fell short. And so after that, it took a minute. It took a minute to try to see that, or try to use someone else's relationship as motivation. A celebrity's relationship, a celebrity's marriage that I would say was Courtney B. Vance and Angela Bassett. Yeah, they had like a whole book. It was an interview on Oprah about their love life, and I was like, oh, okay, like I see that. And I remember meeting them both in person. And I was like,
dropping that?
This was at my church, but this was like.
Just dropping
this
that?
Was like,
yo, yeah, man,
Angela Bassett comes to your church.
This was like 12 years ago.
This is
niggas, and you just tell us?
I feel like I told this before.
You have not.
I don't remember.
It is the Abyssinian Baptist Church.
Okay.
It's a bougie church.
It's Angela Bassett, so I didn't think it would be anything less.
Cicely Tyson was a member at our church.
That I do remember you telling me.
And they had the viewing was at our church.
The viewing?
For her. Yeah, when Cicely passed.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I thought she was still alive.
Jude, where did you go? Jude, let's pause.
Baby, bring it back. Bring it back. Reverse.
I was the only one thing.
Yeah.
I did not have a lot of examples because every time when there was always like a marriage, with two black people, there was always problems happening that I would find out about. And I'm like, damn, I guess nobody's happy. Nobody's happy in this marriage. And there's no perfect example for like a real black couple that I see every day in the street.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I literally don't see it.
And we'll definitely get into that because that came up in the video as well. Yeah. But that's real though, man. Not, and I think that's part of FD's point. And then we'll jump to you, Jude. But like that, in the same way that Valentine's Day has become a very commercial thing, Black love has become a very sort of commercial thing. Like Grace said, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get some black love. I need me some black love this year. Like it's a perfume,
It's so weird.
When that's not the case. Jude, what would you say when you first heard that term, and whether or not you've had any examples?
Same time as y'all, high school, college. And
college is when, at least for me, that's when I even became, like the end of high school, beginning of college is when I started to think of myself as a black person. Like in terms of like,
I see what you're saying.
Understanding that like me being a black man meant something, and that I couldn't, that like there wasn't a colorblind like way to live, and especially when you're going through acting school. I'm sorry to cut you off at the pass, but just especially when you're going to acting school, that's something they try to instill, like or at least that they tried to back then. Maybe the curriculum has changed, but they were like, like it's your talent that should get you the role, and like. Yeah. While that is ideally true, if you're working in film, especially, it's a visual medium, theater, like these things where people see you, what they see is going to inform how they react, and you have to think about that when you cast. So like, but I remember specifically, even outside of acting, it was when Philando Castile and Alton Sterling were both executed within like 24 hours of each other in 2016. That was when I went on my first protest ever. And we were like marching, like all down the side of Manhattan and back up, and we went to Times Square and everything. And that was kind of the beginning of me becoming like aware that there's a potential danger to looking the way I look, depending on how I interact with certain people and depending on where I'm at. And then shortly thereafter is where I started to hear, these ideas of Black love. So yeah, I think just to say, Jude, it makes sense that you would have heard it in college. Yeah.
Yeah, but to piggyback off of what you just said, I feel like I've been aware of being a Black person and how that can affect me out in the world when I was like 7 or 8, like in elementary school, because I went to it's literally called the hippie school, PS3, and it's basically LaGuardia, but like not as sexy. Like it's like baby LaGuardia, I would say, maybe, because we had a kiln. You know what a kiln is? You make clay. Yeah. And then you turn it into glass, like an actual like fucking like pinch pot. You could actually make shit in there. We had a kiln in our fucking school. It's
I had that in my elementary school.
Right? It's crazy. So, and I'm in there, and I remember it was like the first time I knew what Black History Month was. And I had to do a historical figure, but not a sports figure. And I'm 8. And there was a Malcolm X poster on my wall. And I was like, Mom, who's that? And my mom was like, that's Malcolm X. Daddy liked him a lot. And, it's like 2 years after my dad passed. I miss my dad a lot, so I do Malcolm X. And then I tell you the story. Grace is the first time you're going to hear this. I write a book report about Malcolm X, and I open it with, back in the past, white people called us niggas.
Got it.
And from then on... Yeah, from then on, I was Black as shit. It was ridiculous. Anyways, with my interpretations and my understanding of Black love, I heard about it around like high school, college. I didn't really think of it much of it because, my mother's white, my dad was Black, and I was just came up like, yo, I'm gonna end up who I end up with when it comes to race. Like, it's just gonna happen this way, like whatever. But I had examples though of, I'm very fortunate, I had examples of a lot of different ways of loving. But the ideas of Black love is Mr. and Mrs. Davis, my neighbors, my sister and brother-in-law who have 2 beautiful children, and my next door neighbors, one of them has passed on, but him and his wife, oh my God, and they're like in their 90s. So the wife passed away. He's still kicking. He's still fucking kicking. And they were together, I had to say, for like 50, 60 years. Because, like, oh my God. They were in their 90s, yo. So I got to see a lot of love in a lot of different ways, and I'm very fortunate that way.
I think for me, most of the examples that I saw of Black couples, I think I'm almost like I'm kind of like on the other hand from Ahmad, where like I got to see a lot of. And I have known a lot of long-lasting Black couples, and most of them are through my church, because my church is full of like, by now middle-aged couples that have been together. Like my parents were part of like a marriage series from like 95 to like 99. There was like, it was like year after year, a different couple was getting married, and they were in that chain. And my godparents got married the year after them. And so like I've grown up with that around me, and I remember very early on, and there's a lot that goes into this, but like I remember early on talking to classmates in elementary school and them being astonished that like I had parents that were together.
Were these white kids?
The majority of them, but not all of them. Yeah. I mean, like, and it was just, even some of the other Black kids didn't have parents who were together, they had, like a Ahmad's situation, a single mom or whatever. So
that's the norm.
Yeah. And they were like, the fact that you like have parents that are married and live together and you see both of them day to day is crazy, because they're bouncing between the East Side and the West Side visiting their mom and their dad, whatever. And so I kind of like, I had to realize that wasn't something you could take for granted, that your parents would be in a committed relationship and that they would be actively trying to make it work. And I think, that kind of lends itself to one of the things they talk about in this video is like our baseline could be people that got together and stayed together out of necessity, but that there's not a lot of love there. And I've been fortunate to be surrounded by examples where there is a lot of love, but there are definitely situations where it's like, that whole it's cheaper to keep her type of mentality, right? Where people
not just cheaper to keep her, but like necessity of pressure. Like,
of course,
I should get married to this person.
Yeah.
Because, my parents say so, my community says so. And you just do it for, your own sake.
Yeah.
Without having to face, your own happiness.
I was going to say there's like generational like divides in terms of how they view like relationships like not lasting. Like, because like as soon as Jude said it, I thought about it. I was like, oh wait, up until college, my only experience of black couples were Ghanaian. Like I have, I don't know if I have any real memories of like black couples that weren't Ghanaian, because also the only boys growing up that dated black girls were Ghanaian. American black guys where I grew up did not date black girls. In fact.
Right.
Was that their own preface? Like, I ain't no fuck with no black chick.
Yes. It was like a thing that I heard often. Like I would have, and like they're not my guy friends now, so don't need to feel bad. But I would have guy friends literally say, like, it's like, Grace, you'd be so much like you'd be so dateable if you weren't as dark as you were.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm realizing it because I was like, all my associations of black love prior to college are like attached to Ghanaians. And I was like, why? And I was like, oh, right, because Ghanaian boys were the only ones who
I wanted to ask that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask that of you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to ask that of you, but I didn't want to like offend you in any way.
Oh,
Like, no, the African American way of blackness and Ghanaian, because it's all, of course, very different.
Yeah, no, it's not like I've accepted colorism plays into my life to this day. So like I prefer to talk about it than pretend it doesn't exist. But I think as a dark-skinned black girl growing up, colorism really, it set up a lot of roots of poison that are still in my life now. And one of them was like, truly, I cannot think of any black dude growing up that I knew who dated black girls who were darker than a paper bag or talked about it. The only ones I knew who did that were African, Nigerian.
This is crazy. Wow.
Like Ghanaian, like they were loud. And like I had a lot of male friends in high school because they would always be like, oh, we're not trying to date you, so it's cool to have you around.
Nah.
One of the homies.
And I remember me and my dark-skinned girlfriend senior year would like gather like, so what are we going to do for prom? Because also I went to a high school that didn't have a lot of Ghanaians. And so all my friends who went to high schools that had Ghanaians, like they had boyfriends growing up. They had like prom dates. They had dates. They had things like that. I didn't have that because the boys were not, like the white boys weren't, but the black boys wanted you to know. That was the thing. It's like, you don't got to tell me. Right. But like the black guys wanted you to know. Went out of their way
to be like, you specifically are not.
They would do rankings. Like they would literally rank my friends in front of me. And they'd be like, well, I can tell you because,
bro, Jude, this is, I mean, and you're making a shocked face and it is shocking, but at the same time, like niggas are still doing this. These are the YouTube videos you see where they go down the boardwalk and they talk to groups of black friends and they're like, what would you rate yourself on a 1 to 10? And then a girl says 10, they're like, I don't know about that. I mean, you kind of too dark for a 10.
You're like, you kind of a 2.
Yeah, and that's exactly. And also what was weird is then when I got to college and there were black men, especially African-American black men, who were interested in me, I always thought they were capping. Because I was like, you clearly are lying. My experience is that you're lying. Right. And then also, too, what was weird is that was when I also started being fetishized for the first time. That never happened to me.
So then the pendulum swung the other way entirely.
And the other way was crazy too. Yeah. So I was like, damn, like,
Can I find middle? I'm
not having a good time. Like, this is
Can I just like be right here in the middle?
Yeah.
No, for real. I think that's why, for me, like, Black love is so harshly associated with Ghanaians. Because until recently, I did not know a world where Black men were attracted to women that look like me, to have the love in the first place. I literally can only think of one family, like one African American family who was not Ghanaian, who were dark. That dark and like that existed, because colorism is huge. What I found is colorism is huge in the North too, but like colorism in Virginia, colorism in the North, they try to hide it. So I think it's more dangerous because like you don't know that you're in it. But in the South, we know, baby. We know it's very much like, you must look like this. Yes, it's very interesting, and Ghanaians don't work that way at all. Even with like skin bleaching or whatever, as my dad said, everybody's black. Everyone's black. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna find the one white person in the village? If there's a white person in the village, everyone's black. Okay.
Find the one albino nigga in the village. Like,
right. It's like,
well, and that's the thing, right? Because of how Black Americans have been, obviously disassociated from our heritage in Africa. We and thrown into this quote unquote melting pot or salad bowl or whichever analogy you want to use. Both of them are weird.
Cesspool.
For what America is with all these different ethnicities and cultures, it's like, Black people. I think that's why even the term Black love is so weird to try to codify, because we've had to create our own culture right while we're here, and we have done that, and it's most of what American culture is. It's the music, it's the dance, it's the whatever. We've talked about that, but like when you're coming from Ghana, these are traditions that are rooted in centuries. They have a continuity to them. You know what I mean? There's a way that these things have been done forever, and you have that to either fall back on or buck against. Here in America, Black people don't really have that in the same way, unless you are up in an immigrant family, and then you're bringing that over from the place that you were. But for someone like me, like my family, we don't really have that connection. So there's no like necessarily expected standard of who I'm supposed to pursue racially, but there is still, I guess, that unspoken thing of like, that we all know of, like, activating the coonship, right? Like if you date a white person or whatever, right? There's too much brainwashing going on, But I think that's part of like what led to some of the entitlement and the bullying of young Black men when they meet African women, is like we see ourselves as having grown up in, I guess, a land of variety. So like, and because we're internalized with all of this colorism, we think that to date someone or to be involved with someone who is African and therefore blacker than we are, is like a fault. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what we're taught subliminally. And it affects our relationships with people who, are really our cousins.
And real quick, like, you don't see this with anybody else. I have not seen one damn post about no goddamn Chinese love or anything. It's specifically Black folks that are
but I also
getting
think
this extra attention.
I feel like that's tied to, because I watch so many K-dramas, and inherently, like, Eastern love, like the way they treat their women is inherently different than how Black men and Black women talk about each other. There's more conflict in how Black men and Black women talk about each other. That you don't really find that in other places where there's like this deep-rooted conflict. So I feel like Black love has come out as wow, you were able to beat the conflict of Black men and Black women got beat with each other and find love.
But there's still the undertone of patriarchy that still commands the entire relationship, which is, I think, the common denominator of the entire problem.
Right. And there, so, to get to some of these other questions I have for y'all on these points, FD talks about this. He brings up this word that I'd never heard. I learned a new word today: hypergamy, which is the action of marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological or educational background. So basically marrying outside of your class. Now, this comes up, or like your station, this comes up a lot in Black relationships, specifically
the other
because
league thing.
Yeah, and it's more than that, right? Because as he says in the video, like Black women, first of all, as we know, Black women are the most highly educated demographic in the United States. The people who tend to pursue and stay in education for the longest and get the furthest degrees. And there's a lot of reasons that, like, you know, Black men can't always achieve that same access, criminalization, et cetera, et cetera. But there's frequently this undertone of like Black women, a fear that like they have to settle because they're at a level that like a lot of Black men, just by the way that things are not going to be able to reach, or not going to already be at. You know, so it's like, if I want to have a relationship with another Black person, then that might require me sacrificing some of the things that I want in an ideal partner, which is why I guess that leads to my next question. Like, and y'all can think either in terms of your current relationships as you have them, or like just in a bubble. Like, when you think about how you want to love and be loved, like what does that look like for you, that ideal relationship?
Nigga, damn, what are you, my therapist? My therapist asked this question today, nigga, damn.
I was like, this is heavy.
That's a lot to unpack here.
I'm charging. I'm actually charging. No, I mean, it is heavy, but I guess I ask because, like, you know, so the video, it interviews a whole bunch of different people, you know, different couples. You have heterosexual Black couples, heterosexual interracial couples with like one Black person in them at least. You have polyamorous couples. You have married and not married. You have, you know what I mean? So like he tries to sample as big a range as he can to give different perspectives on this topic. And he does talk about like Will and Jada, and how there's a certain aspect of development that, like, when you decide, if you decide to be in a long-term relationship with someone, you are also signing on to love them under the condition that they may not be exactly the same person as they were when you met them, right?
Yeah.
And you know, he says you know, he phrases it kind of, I mean, it's sort of dark, but it's beautiful in a way. He's like, you know, love is not safe. This person, they sleep in your bed, you share money with them, they are uniquely positioned to hurt you, and you have to be okay with that.
And I came mad cool.
Yeah. So it's like, I guess that's, you know, that's kind of the root of the question. Like, you know, when you guys think about what you want your ideal relationship to look like, if that's something that you've thought about.
Yeah. I mean, I think about this a lot nowadays because my life is about to be so very different. Yeah. And it is impacting everything in often not great ways. But, like, the last person I talked to, I was under the impression that they were seeing me for me, and then I realized, like, I had once again been put on a pedestal, and I think that's what I hate the most. And it's happened in every person. I've only ever dated Black people, but what's interesting is, like, I've had, like, crushes, like, real intense, like, crushes where I'm like, wow, this person really gets me. And those have always been white people, white men. And I remember I watched Slave Play, and I had to, like, literally come back home and, like, journal. But I was like, I realized Black men historically in my life have put me on this weird pedestal, this, like, Madonna God complex pedestal. Like, I am the mom, I'm the provider, I'm all those things. I am their mom while they're in my house. And white dudes don't do that. So, like, white friends, male friends that I've had that I've found myself feeling romantic feelings for, like, my roommate calls me Gravy. My name is Grace, but she calls me Gravy because she's like, your actual personality, it's like gravy, everyone loves gravy, but it's a little messy and it can get everywhere and you can't always control it. So she calls me Gravy. And it's really cute. And I always say, like, I've never dated anybody who fell in love with gravy. And I rarely ever do Black men see that side of me, are attracted to that side of me, like that side of me. They expect a Black girl magic all the time. Right. They expect a certain strength level all the time. They expect a certain level of emotional maturity all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas I've had like white male friends who I've like, developed crushes on, who it's like from the jump, they don't expect nothing. Yeah. So I find myself being more vulnerable, being more myself. Mm-hmm. And when I journaled about it, I was like, but I thought I want to have a black love relationship, but these black men don't love me for me. And like now, especially now too, when in a month or two, I will be an entirely different pay grade. Yeah. That too has also impacted it because
I'm like shifting. The tax bracket is shifting.
I mean,
let me hold it down real quick.
The tax bracket I was at, it was going to shift regardless. But I mean, like that also has impacted it now too, because finances play such a big role in Black love for whatever reason, where men feel like they need to be the provider, they need to be able to provide this stuff, they need to do all those things.
Yeah.
So. Like, I've literally had arguments with exes in the past where I'm like, you just spent your phone bill to get me $300 worth of Fenty makeup. And now you can't call me. I was so upset. I was like, I don't need those things. And he was like, a real man can do all this. And for me, one thing my daddy always did, pay the bills.
Yeah.
My mom, whatever she got outside of that, one thing he always made sure Letitia had, she had groceries in her fridge, bills were paid, she was settled. She didn't have to worry about nothing. So if she wanted to spend 12 hours guardianing, she could. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I'm like, you're just buying me gifts to post on Twitter, to tell Twitter that you're a man, but you haven't handled your own shit. Like, I'd rather, your hard-earned money is going to makeup that I'm not going to wear because I don't happen to like that eyeshadow shade. Like, come on. But it's so inherently tied into... Now, I call them empty box Twitter, where y'all post boxes for Valentine's Day and birthdays, but there's no evidence that there's anything in the box. Like, because of all these empty box Twitter posts, like, everybody feels like they got to be doing the most. Like, y'all feel like you got to be providing offset birthday spreads. But I know you work at an Amazon warehouse, and that's fine.
Grace is bringing out the 12 gauge.
I'm sorry. But it's like...
Just real quick, Grace. She just said so fast. I know you work at an Amazon warehouse, and that's fine.
But the thing is, Jude, that is fine. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I am 24. I do not expect, I don't expect other 24 niggas to be six figure. Bitch, I didn't expect me to be six figure. So why am I out here demanding shit from you that logistically, we know you don't get to that job position until you're 28, 29. So why would I ask you to buy $4,000 worth of gifts for every other week? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's not love. That's material. Yeah. That is Twitter. That's not love. That is... Black love is so inherently tied to clout and being like trying to prove something versus trying to prove something to your heart, to yourself, and the person you're with. And that's why we keep putting people on pedestals that they didn't ask to be put on. We keep seeing people as not how they are, assuming they want more than what they're asking for, because we're letting Twitter decide what is right for us rather than like a therapist. Go to therapy, guys.
No, Grace, you're right. You're tapping into, I think, like why and how this idea of this is a great idea. Why and how this concept of Black love is harmful to anyone who ascribes too much value to it. Because then what it does is it people enter these relationships, I think, with these roles that they feel like they have to fulfill without ever really clearing that with the other person, and then it breeds resentment because you think that someone's expecting something of you that they were never expecting, and then you start the Fresh and Fit podcast and you ask what women bring to the table when you could have just had
I love taking shots at niggas.
It's like
I love it.
I bring my Disney Plus password and you bring Hulu and let's watch some TV. Like, I don't need to be out there in the streets doing crazy shit.
You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, to be vulnerable for a minute, like, I have been in a relationship where I would, even at this level, like where I wasn't making really any money, but definitely wasn't making the most money of the two of us, right? And it's like, it can feel demoralizing, and I think part of that is because of the, like you said, Grace, like the example that I had growing up, where like even if we were struggling, financially, I never really knew about it because all of our necessities were provided, right? Yeah. So it wasn't like, there was never a situation where that wasn't taken care of. It was just maybe there's less gifts for Christmas this year, that type of thing. But that can kind of weigh on you because it's like, obviously most relationships, I feel like the way I think about it, especially when you're dating, like before we even get to marriage, because none of us are near that stage right now. But it's like when you're in relationships, like the way I think of it, I like to be able to, I like things to be somewhat even. You know what I mean? It's like, if like, hey babe, like you just got a promotion. Congratulations. I want to treat you to dinner tonight. And then like that can be either one of you, or we want to go out, treat each other. It's Valentine's Day. Let's split it maybe, or like whoever decides. You can still keep up all the courtship, obviously, but it doesn't have to always be, I think, this static thing of like the man is paying for dinner every time, regardless. You know what I mean? And it's like, then if you are dating someone like Grace, who's making six figures and she's on HBO Max, and you're not at that level, you're going to be bitter at her because you pursued her knowing what level she's at, and you can't. I mean, like, you have to come into the relationship and be like, okay, I'm this is where I'm at financially, but I'm still willing to like you said, bring the Hulu password, and that's also probably all that Grace is asking.
If I like you, I like you. It's so frustrating now being in a place where I'm literally like, my friends are like, "Are you dating?" And I'm like, "How? Explain it." Because how am I going to date? One, I don't want to talk about my job because I don't want clout. That's a whole different thing. But it's like, now I don't want people to feel pressured by it. I don't want people to feel like I expect you to come in like Tom Holland every 5 seconds, when it's like, I have been filming on this TV show for 3 weeks. Ask me how many times I left my house. I don't leave my house because this job is just a job. Okay, I'm still the same loser I was before. All right, so I sit on this bed and I watch these K-dramas and rewatch Psych, and I don't do anything else. Just because I'm working on this TV show don't mean I'm out in the club. Don't mean I'm out in Fashion Week. Right. Shit, they haven't even announced my casting. So it's like, it's so frustrating because people assume, they put all these like pressures and assumptions, especially on Black women. People put all these like bougie assumptions on Black women, and they don't allow Black women to speak for themselves and say what they want in their honesty and truth. And so then also Black women sometimes feel pressured to lie about what they want, or like lie about who they are, or come off as one thing when they're actually another, because they're trying to aspire to be this like perfect thing. Because also Black men have also been ingrained that none of y'all niggas want us anyways. So if we fuck up, none of y'all niggas is gonna want us anyways. So now we have to be perfect, and then perfect again, and then perfect again, and then we get in trouble for making too much money, and then nobody want us anyways, and I'm back to square one. How I get here? What'd I do?
Date Chinese niggas.
I mean, my friend is, and she's really happy.
I have a question for y'all. This is more of a fun question, but it came up in the video, and I know that we have all watched this show, so I'm going to ask this to maybe uplift things, but it ties into the same theme. Do y'all think Issa and Lawrence should have gotten back together at the end of the series?
Wow.
I didn't give a shit.
I do like it. I like it, guys.
Listen, talking to a nigga who that's happened to him, like I was Lawrence at one point, I felt for him, and I don't know, like, should he have gotten back together? I don't, like, they seem to work out, whatever they worked out, good for them, but like, I didn't give a shit. I think it could have been maybe a little darker, maybe it didn't have to end all happy, like, because so many different stories could have been told. But I wasn't as invested in Insecure as everybody else. I just binged it,
and also you binged it, yeah. Ahmad, how'd you feel about it? Because I know I think you watched it kind of at the pace that it was being released, and you saw the build up.
Yeah. Okay. When I saw the final episode, I just knew it was gonna go. It was either gonna be Issa's going to move on and live her life. Is still doing what the hell is her name? What the hell is the company name that she's in?
We got y'all? No, that's the old one.
That's the old one.
On
something
the
block.
The block,
The
yeah, hot block.
Black block.
Nigga Town. What is it like?
Crenshaw? No, that's the one.
Crenshaw is
that was
the
the artist.
stylist.
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
Lovecraft Country. I think that's what she
That's
called it.
funny. But something about the block. But she's gonna move on and expand that and focus on her career. But on the other hand, I was like, she gonna fall back in love with him. Even though he got the kids, she's gonna remember like all the years they've spent with each other, and getting married, and she wouldn't go through any of these trials and tribulations and problems with anybody else. Why? Because that is her lover. That's her true love. And I said,
whatever.
And then at the end, I said, that's it. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this show now. I'm glad it's over.
Well, the show is done.
I'm glad
The show is also done with us.
I'm glad.
Issa
it's
said,
over.
"Y'all are going to be mad no matter what I do." So
Yes.
I'm going to do what I want to do.
She said, I'm literally making 8 figures now, so I'm just throwing that out at you, and I'm
Jay-Z
going to
asked you to be in his
continue.
music video.
Issa said, "I'm married in real life. I don't care about this
Exactly.
fictional character I created."
Exactly. And a lot of people like to base their relationships off of like these insecure characters. They're like, I need a man like him. What?
No, you don't. You don't need a man
I feel like a lot of people do that with their relationships. I need
Yeah.
a man like this fictional character on a TV show. It don't work like that, boo.
You just need a man that exists in real life.
Yeah,
Which
who
none
loves
of
you
them
for
do.
you. And the thing is, like, I agree, Jude. I started watching Insecure when I was in college upstate at Geneseo, and I felt for Lawrence as well. I related to him because I was in a situation that was similar to, I feel like, what he was going through. So he is sympathetic for that reason. And I there was a point, for most of the show, I would say I was rooting for their relationship. But I think the reason I bring it up is because in the video, FD brings it up, and he also says, like, he says that he feels good about how the show ended because he likes how it depicts a commitment to what I mentioned before, like loving someone in all of the stages that they're in, and that in all of the stages that life takes you. And that is what the show is about, right? Like from the very beginning, it's been Issa and Lawrence, but they had to kind of separate to understand that. I mean, my issues with the finale are more structural than they are even like plot based, and that's like a separate conversation. But it's
that's
like,
your nerd writer side.
Yeah, that's this. But here, I'm like, okay, like cool. Like she winds up with Lawrence, I guess it makes sense. But I know there were people that were upset, like, this is showing people that it's okay to get back with your ex. Like, it's okay to not get back with your ex. Like, maybe that was the person you dated for that time, and not, they're not who you need right now.
You can.
Yeah.
You can get back with your
Also, it's a TV show, and everybody was being like, because it's one depiction, now everyone's gonna go get back with their ex. No, because your ex beats on you, babes. Lawrence is kind of slow. Like, my thing is like,
your ex
Lawrence
tried to put a child on you.
Right. Lawrence never committed no crime. Like, yes, he was a douche. And like, because personally, I was happy. All my girls got their nigga at the end. I was happy. Because everybody was like, what I want is for these girls to like, focus on the career and strong black. And I said, fuck that shit. You want that? Go watch Waiting to Exhale. I want to see everything. Okay? I want to see it. I've earned it. So when they went black woman by black woman and gave each one their fairy tale, I said, you better work. You better fucking work. Are you kidding? I don't care if it's because also the reality, what I like too, is she chose the option that wasn't the perfect option, but it was her heart. And I'm like, we do not let black women do this. especially in rom-coms, because I'm an avid rom-com lover, and I have grown up watching these white women choose the bottom of the barrel man again and again, and everybody run around with their Love Actually boards like, oh my god, I love it, she followed her heart, and then a black girl does it
about to marry Owen Wilson.
Yeah. J-Lo done married 12 people she shouldn't marry in a rom-com, okay? Literally, she made her rom-com career off of doing that, okay? Yo. I literally watched a white woman break up her best friend's wedding and walk away with that nigga. And y'all want to get mad at Issa? Listen, let black women not be perfect sometimes. Because also, again, Lawrence didn't kill nobody. Yes, Lawrence was a douche, but also the amount of growth that occurred with Lawrence. If this was season 3, I would have said, fuck that hoe. But it's season 5 because 2 more years and he grew up, he manned up, he bossed up, and he became the man worthy of her love. Yeah. As same way as Issa did vice versa. It was a story, it was about growth, it was a story about imperfection, and it was a story about doing the choice that is right for you, and you know that is right for you, and it is not always the choice that society tells you have to do. Society wants black women to do what they think black women should do, because we put all this pressure on them. And I personally, going into that finale, I said, all I want my ladies boot up. I want my ladies with a ring on it, because if I have to see that factoid that 33% of black women are going to die single one more time, I'm going to shoot somebody. I want these 4 black women with the fucking boo. And if I don't get it, everybody's blown up. So when she ended up with Lawrence, I said, fine. Yeah. Fine. Are you happy, Issa? Fine, great, because I'm happy. I needed it.
Yeah. I know one thing. I was not going to allow Issa to be with that dude, Nathan.
I did not like him.
Nathan is horrible.
I wasted my time. Nathan, go home, Nathan. Go home, Nathan.
This man had his bedroom lamp standing on top of a car.
On a crate. On a crate.
God bless him.
On a milk crate, trying to do the milk crate challenge in his own bedroom. Absolutely not.
In his own bedroom.
I said, no. Why is she still with this man?
This is... Grace, your point is very well said, and I think it dovetails us very nicely into the last question I have for y'all. In the video, FD talks about, well, not FD himself, but one of the couples that he interviews talks about this idea of self-compassion, right? Practicing love for yourself so that you can, embrace someone else. And this is something that we've heard all the time. So I guess what I'm curious about for y'all, as tidily as you can present it, is how do you practice compassion for yourself, right? Like, how do you show yourself love, particularly if and when you're feeling like lonely, or like as it relates to relationships and your desire to be in one or whatever, like when you have those moments, and I know 2 out of the 4 people on this call are in one, but even thinking about when we're not, like, or when there are, there are moments in our singleness or even in our relationships where we feel a little lonely. How do we practice compassion to ourselves? How do y'all show up for yourselves?
I was gonna say I do it. So like the big way that I've been doing it is like it's gonna sound weird, but like I talk to myself, and like my roommate has gotten used to it, but she was like, you're very good at finding entertainment in yourself and joy and happiness in yourself. Like I don't inherently need somebody around to feel fulfilled. And I also think lately I've been practicing the art of vulnerability. Yeah. Because to myself, to my roommate, to my close friends, letting people in, letting myself be more vulnerable, letting myself be more vocal about vulnerability, and like moments when I'm not feeling good, and moments where I'm like, my life isn't perfect, fuck off. I've been doing that way more often than I've ever done, and I think it's a good way of reminding myself that like I don't have to meet anyone's pedestal ever. I don't have to meet anyone's pedestal now, so that one day if somebody comes into my life, I won't have to meet your pedestal then. I can just be me, and me in its fullness is enough. Like, I keep reminding myself that, like, I as Grace don't need anybody else to add value. Because also I realize like a lot of my loneliness is not rooted in like relationship loneliness. I've been mostly single most of my life. Like, shout out to colorism, I guess. Most people aren't trying to date me. So I've found that my loneliness most of the time is rooted in a sense of I'm lonely around everyone. Yeah. I can be in a crowd and not feel understood. I can be like, you know, with my roommate and feel depths of loneliness. That's what I target. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to feel fulfilled in my everyday life. I don't often think about what it'd be like to have a boo and all that stuff. In fact, most of the time I tell people, if you're not coming for anything serious, please go away. Mm-hmm. Because I'm actually finding a lot of fulfillment being by myself. And I don't want you to come in and mess with that and then leave. Yeah. And then I have to start again. No. Right. You coming in.
Like I just cleaned my room and now you're talking.
And then go mess it up and then no. Yeah, like I'm like I don't even view it as like single whatever. I'm not partnered right now. Whatever. That has no definition on anything else in my life. Like I think the greatest thing I've done for myself is not compare myself to my friends who were booed up, not compare myself to anyone. Because also, sometimes I have to remind myself, those niggas are comparing themselves to me right now. They may be booed up, but they also may want to be me right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So rather than coveting somebody else's life, let me focus on like crafting and making my life really wonderful. And then maybe somebody might walk into my house and then they will stay.
Yeah. No, it's...
If not, okay.
Comparison is the thief of joy. I remind myself of this all the time. There's like, you know, there's really no use in working yourself up about what you can perceive about someone else's life because they're trying to do... There's whatever I think I lack compared to someone else, they could look at me and say, well, I wish I had what Justin had going on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you, Ahmad? How do you love yourself? You put that beard oil on, you dance around in that robe, listen to D'Angelo.
I mean, listen.
You got the bonnet on, my brother.
Listen, who you telling? I would say that some ways of me loving myself or just putting myself in a space to like some techniques in order for me to just feel like I'm alone and that's okay, or I'm alone in this room and that's okay. I don't go on my phone to speak to anybody. I more so meditate. Something that one of my professors she gave me was you know, whenever you're feeling like there's some stress going on, if you feel like you're down and at some point, just lay on your back and have your legs go on top of the bed and be there, eyes closed for 20 minutes. And that shit is amazing. It is amazing. Sometimes you just, either you want to self-reflect or you just want to take a good-ass nap. When it comes to music, hell yeah, I go into my soul era. I go into my R&Bizzle. You know, either D'Angelo, Eric Benet, or maybe maybe Jasmine Sullivan will be played. But I just like to get into the mode of me being with myself, me going to the gym, or me writing in my journal, or just writing in general. Yeah. And telling myself that, you know, I'm still here, I'm still worth it. I feel good, I look good, booty bone naked, and I am a beautiful black man. That's all it is. And yeah. Yeah. I'm worthy to love someone and also be loved, and also tell myself that, yes, I do fuck up, I do make mistakes, and the only way to just move forward is to just move fucking forward. Yeah. Yeah. But also learn from it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jude, how about you, man? You know, you're a big proponent of therapy, so...
Yeah, that's all I do. Like, I don't have any answers right now. I just go to therapy, and I'm figuring it out as we speak. Yeah.
And you hit squats.
And I hit my squats. So I just... honestly, my key right now is listen to violent rap music, working out, and going to therapy. Therapy has been crucial to me, and I have this new aspect of loneliness with my mother passing.
Yeah.
And that one is just really scary because now it's like I'm the only one who knows me, like from birth.
Right.
If that makes any sense. And that was a new battle I was facing, and I made the mistake of, like, you know, being completely alone when she passed away, and I got myself into a relationship where I just didn't want to be alone. I just couldn't do it. But now with therapy, I found my coping mechanisms and why I shouldn't be in, you know, anything at this point in my life. But I'm still just figuring out coping mechanisms and ways of, you know, altering my thinking when it comes to my loneliness. But honestly, I feel pretty good, and I have, you know, gratefully, and I know I probably annoyed the shit out of y'all, but I have Justin, Ahmad, all of our homies, and shouts out to Stephanie, my good old pal, you know, and I have people that, you know, care about me, and when they can, you know, they holler at me, and I, you know, appreciate you all for that. You know, Stephanie, Justin, Ahmad, Wes, niggas from Garcia Gung Fu, my cousin Francesca, Ryan Putman, Ryan Cullen, all y'all, Kim. So shout out to all y'all for looking out for the kid. Oh, don't, you know what? I can't even go on for this.
No, well, hey man, it's an honor to, you know, to know you, and I love you, man. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. I think for me, self-compassion has to be about, I think it has to be similar to kind of what Ahmad said about allowing myself to make mistakes and giving myself grace. giving myself a Miss Duah. In that it's like when you grow up with a certain level of expectation, perceived or real, that can weigh on you, and you know it you don't even realize how anxious you are about like making any sort of decision or including anyone into your life until like it has to happen. You know, I told my dad a while ago that, like, because he was like, well, I mean, like, if you have casual sex with people and like if that's not like the thing that makes a relationship real, like what is? And I was like, honestly, is when y'all know about it. Like when I tell you someone's name, then it's because now that's in the whole world could know, but if my mom and dad don't know, you don't exist. It is kind of how I operated for a while, and
Damn.
you know, and it's like it's just because of like, I mean, it could be the religion aspect of it, like, you know, and it could be all of that, but I just always feel that pressure to introduce someone to my parents who is like, who I guess that feels substantial and like someone that I could be proud to show to them, like, you know, look who I found, you know, do you approve of this person for me? So there's, but saying that to say, like, giving myself the grace to not always be like the poster boy or be this like so to speak perfect child, and in that to make mistakes sometimes with my relationships, or even not mistakes. I mean, just because a relationship ends doesn't mean it was a tragic mistake. Like it could just be what it was,
Justin,
for the time. No, but what I'm saying is right. Like,
I'm joking.
I was like, guys.
Because I made tragic mistakes.
Oh well, yes, yeah, but
Okay.
I'm saying, I'm speaking for me, from my point of view. Like, you know, I like the relationship that I had at a certain point that ended, you know, pretty recently. There was all of this collapsing, like, embarrassment and shame on me for like that I felt to myself for having broadcast this person as someone who felt like, you know, like they were going to be locked in with me for a while, and then for it to dissipate. I felt like I had failed the promise that I had established. You know what I mean? And obviously that's just nonsense. It's your anxiety working against you. It's the devil, whatever you want to call it. But it's like, that was how I felt. And so I have to give myself room to let relationships be what they're going to be, and to not try to obsess about like, it has to be exactly this thing. Otherwise, why am I doing it? You know? And just thinking of myself as a catch, you know? Like thinking of myself, like, yeah, I'm a cool guy to date. I'm a cool guy to be with, you know? And that's because I'm cool as me. So if you get me as a boyfriend, then it's like you get extra perks. But like I'm cool on my dolo. And I think like that, you know, that's the thing that we're all in our 20 somethings. So we're trying to figure it out. We're all trying to explore who we are, and that's what
I would say one thing, just to piggyback off of that, just like you said, owning mistakes, but I mean making mistakes, but also owning up to it.
Yes.
And figuring out how can you change that in yourself, and you know, how can you better yourself in that moment, or if that situation pops up again, what are some other ways that you can battle that situation? And I feel like I do that. Whereas at times before, I would make mistakes and then just be like, well, shit, I did it, but fuck it, I don't give a fuck. And then I'll just keep going. Yeah, that was so bad. That was so horrible of me. And then sometimes, like, that would come up again, but it's just me realizing, like, I really need to just grow the fuck up and own those mistakes that I've committed, and how can I better the relationship that I'm in? How can I become a better boyfriend? And because I'm not trying to be the person that I was 2 years ago, or try to be the person that I was yesterday. I want to become better every single day. And so, that's mostly it. And also me telling myself that I have great friends. I have amazing friends. I have amazing connections. I have amazing that I'm fine at where I'm at. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
We're still young, okay? We're young. My parents met at 28, 29, something along those lines. I'm pretty sure if this motivates anybody, my mom was the first woman my dad ever interacted with romantically at the age of 29. His family thought he might be gay. Like, they were literally like, we are losing hope here. And he met my mom in nursing school. And 33 years have passed, and he's still very much obsessed with her. So, like, I say that to remind you, like, we have time. There is no rush. Like, just focus, like, live in the moment. I think worrying about, oh, I'm single now, or I'm this or that, you're not living in the moment. And you should always live in the moment, whether you're in love with somebody or you're in love with yourself, or you're both.
But sometimes that can cause like a big spin, because a lot of people don't like that term, living in the moment.
This is
Well,
what
I do.
told me.
I didn't know. No, I feel you. I like it too. Just know some people are just like, I don't like it when people use that, because it seems like y'all just trying to have fun and always trying to have fun. I'm like,
but you can have fun in a relationship the same way you can have fun single. You just need
I have a practical way of using that statement. Our meditation teacher, Stan, put me onto an idea when I was with a girlfriend of mine, and I was having trouble of overthinking things. And he was like, think 3 days ahead. Don't think mad far into the future where you'll come up with all these ideas about getting married and da-da-da-da. And don't think about
past,
years in the past. Be within 3 days, week by week, and you may not be 100% happier, but you won't fluster yourself with things that haven't happened yet, or that won't happen anytime soon. And he mentioned a couple that he worked with, and they use this method, and they've been together for dumb long.
Grace, we need to find you a man.
Good. I would love that.
We're gonna find
If you guys know any, my mother specifically would love that. Letitia,
Grace is gonna wind up on this courtship show that's coming out.
Actually, no. See, I can't do that because I like the show ironically because I'm gonna bully it, so I can't be on a show.
You can't be on it if you're gonna bully it. Yeah. If y'all haven't heard about this, they're basically they're recreating, like it's just Bridgerton. Like they're recreating the Bridgerton aesthetic. They have a young black woman as the sole candidate. She goes in, and a bunch of guys have to try to court her under the conditions of like, but specifically under the conditions of like ye old British England.
I think it said ye old.
No, literally, they're literally like it is 16.
Yeah, like they have like ascots and like the whole like boots, the whole thing, like Disney princess.
The dude's gonna wear makeup and the George Washington wigs.
Not that far.
Maybe. It's so Bridgerton. I know they got the idea off of Bridgerton because it exploded and Bridgerton's lead was a black and they were like, but yeah. Listen, if you know any single people who are cool and are down to come eat hot pot with me and my roommate and her boyfriend, cool. But also, if they're going to be weird about my job, then no. Because that's what just happened to me, and I prefer I don't do that again.
Grace, Grace, you don't want to steal Gunna from Chloe?
Don't disrespect her like that.
Chloe seems very happy.
Don't disrespect her like that.
Chloe Bailey is happy because Chloe Bailey, I love you. So whatever makes you happy makes me happy, and
Respect her like that.
Me and Gunna don't have anything in common. I can already tell. Yeah. Me and Gunna don't have anything in common.
Grace, you're not pushing P? You're not pushing P?
No. I only learned that meant positivity last week.
Oh, I still didn't know what it meant.
It means pushing positivity. But I thought it meant something entirely different.
Pushing penis?
I thought it was pushing perks.
I thought it was drugs. I thought people were asking me to be rude. Right. I thought it was #euphoria. But he said it's positivity. Right. And I'm like, there's other ways to say that.
You're going to be feeling real positive all this.
Right. I'm like, Gunna, you know what this is. Like, that was very weird. That was weird. But yeah, my standards are standard. Don't cheat. Don't be colorist. And don't be sexist. Everything else, I don't even really care. I'm not even kidding. My dad's 5'3", so like the height thing, who cares? Listen, the Duahs, we have never come tall.
So she demands the foot rubs, the hand rubs, back massages when she walks in the door because she's been on set for 12 hours.
I have a massage gun, so you just really got to put it on the back.
Exactly.
I can't reach my son.
So she was like, you need to do stuff without her asking you. Because like she don't need to ask you if you just were in the room with her. You just sitting there like a dunce. Yeah. But just putting this out, Grace, if we are unsuccessful with finding a man, all three of us will come over with your roommate and boyfriend, and we're gonna all eat some food. That sounds
You're like, I want hot pot regardless.
I want hot pot shit. Come on, like
we do have a hot pot machine. We do have a hot pot machine, and
Jude will bring the Parmesan. Yeah,
Jude will bring the eggplant Parmesan.
I'll bring
eggplant.
Something. I don't know, some salmon, some wings.
Listen. I'm also down for this because most people are unsuccessful.
This can just be a thing. We can just hang out.
Let's just go. Let's just hang out.
I was also like, let's just hang out. Dating is a lot. Like, y'all got it. I hope you're happy. I'm personally just waiting for my checks to clear.
She's posted up chilling. I'm serving dick and food.
Yeah. Come on now, and I'm waiting for Grace to give me my $5 because it's just like I need it now.
So let me hold that. Let me hold that $5. Let me hold that.
Let me just hold it.
Let's let the check clear.
I want to thank y'all, first of all, our guests for coming on at short notice and contributing to this conversation with us. I want to thank y'all for helping make this a really cool episode. Of course, Grace, always feel free to come back. You're a friend of the show. You know what I mean? You're welcome.
I'm a friend of the show.
Yeah, anytime we do a takeover, we could just swap you in and no one would even know. They'd be like, "Oh, Grace."
I think they would.
No, but it's great seeing you, great talking to you, and I think we've talked a lot. In my head at first, I was like, oh, we'll get Grace, and then we'll go back and then talk between the three of us about the other stuff we had on the docket for today. But let's just sit with what we've discussed. Let's just let it.
Nigga, I'm tired. Ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, Jude been falling asleep.
Look at me. Look at me laying on this.
No, he's in bed.
Like this. Yo.
So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Memory foam.
Happy Black History Month. Enjoy the final weeks of February. Send a black person some money. If you want more Uptown love, you can find us across socials at HVO Pod. You can, of course, look up our back catalog on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the Podbean app. Rate and review the show wherever you get it. Really helps us out. And stay tuned for next month.
And wear your damn condoms.
That's right.
Go get your STI checked out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just wrap your shit up.
And,
we don't need nobody.
And masks.
And a mask.
Mask
And
the
a
fuck
mask.
up.
Yeah.
Please wear your mask.
Wear a mask on a train. Yo, I consider someone not wearing a mask on the train, that's like sharing a heroin needle.
Yes. We should have been done that, to be honest. We should have been wore masks on that nasty ass train.
Bruh.
They cleaned it for the first time in 100 years.
Yo,
that shit
Japan had it right.
That shit wasn't even
That
clean.
was not clean.
They literally announced it. They said, for the first time in 110 years, the subways have been cleaned.
Are you serious?
Why would you tell me that? Yeah, you don't remember when the pandemic started?
Yeah, I remember that.
They shut down the train, and they were like, for the first time in 110 years, they're cleaning the trains.
Oh, wow. Thanks so much.
Yeah. It looked like it cleaned.
None of our grandparents would have been that old.
And they got the nerve to say, pay the fare. It helps us increase update service. It helps provide better service.
It does not.
I have seen the fare increase 3 times in my life, and the A trains still look exactly the same. The 6 train.
That was the train they tried to clean.
The 6 train looks like it's still 1997.
Yeah.
But I have one more thing.
Oh, what's one more thing, Ahmad?
If you sneeze or cough, ladies and gentlemen, please do it in your elbow.
Yes.
Please cover it with your elbow. Because I've seen this. I've seen this at Equinox. I have seen this at Equinox.
Not Equinox.
Not
where I work.
This man full blown sneezed in his hands, both of his hands, and wiped it on his shirt. You're still, just because you pay $300 a month for a gym membership, don't mean you can still act like that. You're still dusty. You're still disgusting. I will smack you with a sanitized glove, okay? Please stop.
Smack it with a dumbbell.
Like, with a dumbbell.
Jude, enjoy your new blow-up bed, sir. Well, not your blow-up, but your air mat, your memory foam.
Not blow up.
They had to blow it up, is what I meant. But it's a memory foam.
No, it had to expand, because when you buy a rolled up mattress, you have to let it expand for 48 hours.
Right.
Oh wow.
Not a blow up mattress. What do I look like? Do I look like Pete Davidson 10 years ago?
Look like a nigga.
Look at Pete Davidson tomorrow if you don't watch this back. Sleeping on the streets of Calabasas with a. Oh, God bless them.
Monkey.
Y'all be safe, be easy. Till next time. Deuces.
Stay black, stay
Bye.
black women.